This is the Syracuse University Promenade. From the moment it was announced in April of 2016, it was embroiled in controversy. Now, I'm a student at Syracuse University, and to me, the reason it was so controversial was that there was a lack of transparency in how it was announced, and it drew serious concerns about Chancellor Kent Syverud's priorities, and we're going to talk about that today. So, we're going to start off with discussing the transparency of the decision. We're going to move on to the impact it would have on the community, and we're going to end with what it showed about Chancellor Syverud's priorities. And so, let's get started. So, the Promenade was announced in April of 2016. And this was a month before finals. And detractors argue that this is significant because the Promenade was announced in April, students wouldn't have time to discuss whether we should build a promenade because they'd be too busy studying because finals were only in a few weeks. And also, there's very little notice given to the community in general. For example, the Syracuse Common Council said that they didn't get advanced warning that they were building a promenade. And also, the promenade was scheduled to be built the summer immediately after the announcement. As a result, there'd be very little debate over it. And this has also been fueled by a narrative that the Chancellor is not transparent about his decisions. A key example of this is early into his tenure in the form of the closing of the Advocacy Center. So, what happened with that was that the Advocacy Center was being moved into the Counseling Center, and with those services now being done by the Counseling Center, the Advocacy Center would be closed. However, this was not communicated that way. To many people in the community, the Advocacy Center was being closed, and now sexual assault victims were going to be left out in the cold. And because of that lack of information, they felt they had to protest, and they did. Weeks later, the general body formed and had a sit-in and cast signs over issues of lack of transparency. And this created a narrative that the Chancellor is not transparent, and this is one of the reasons why the promenade was so controversial. And another thing that's important to consider is the impact it will have on the community. Another concern that detractors of the promenade had was that it was part of a process of resortification, that the campus was becoming like a resort, cut off from the rest of the city. And an example of this is that I know someone in the larger Syracuse community, and he once said that University Place has become a mall, which shows that people outside the school are probably feeling alienated from the campus, which creates concerns about what we want our relationship with the city to be. Another concern was how it was going to affect traffic, because University Place was going to become pedestrian only, and that means that traffic on that street was going to be redirected to Waverly Avenue, and this had concerns over how it was going to impact traffic. That the increased traffic could affect people's commutes, and it could make them longer and make traffic more crowded, and that the increased crowding could increase the risk of accidents or people accidentally getting hit by cars. And so overall, there was concern that the promenade was going to have a negative effect on the school's community, and that created concerns over what Chancellor Syverud's priorities are. Before Kent Syverud became Chancellor, it became apparent that the university was facing a budget crisis. Expenses were exceeding revenues, meaning the university was losing money. Syverud promised to solve this problem through budget cuts. He bought out the contracts of several university employees, effectively laying them off. Now, people who opposed the promenade argued that it was hypocritical for Syverud to talk about budget cuts when he was spending $6 million on a project that they felt was unnecessary. And they felt that that money could have been used on other issues, like increasing the amount of pay to adjunct faculty members, or increasing the amount of financial aid available to students, or improving mental health services. And so they felt that the administration was spending money unnecessarily. Now, there is one argument in favor of the administration. You see, the promenade looks best in the summer, and most prospective students probably visit in the summer. And so, the administration might be thinking that because the campus will look more beautiful, prospective students will come away more interested in applying. And this will increase the amount of applications. Now, because the amount of people applying would increase, if the number of people accepted changes very little, the school will look more competitive. And schools that look more competitive do better in the college rankings. These are sites like the Princeton Review or the US News and World Report. And colleges that do better in these rankings get more money. And that could be why the administration is doing this. However, they're not talking about it this way. And so, in the eyes of a lot of students and faculty members, they have serious concerns about why the administration is making these decisions. So, much of the controversy over the promenade was caused by the lack of transparency surrounding the decision, particularly given the other issues facing the campus. The promenade was announced only a few months before it was built, and many people simply did not think we should have a promenade and that this money should go to other issues. However, nothing more can be done about this. The promenade is here, it's already built, it's not going away. However, what can be taken from this is that the Chancellor needs to have an honest conversation and debate with the university and the community about what direction to take the college.